Just want to say thank you to everybody that came out Saturday. Record-setting crowd. And I also want to thank administration and marketing for that. That's Duke Dog Reading Day, and the schools around here. I know it's a little bit different when my kids are doing that stuff. I tell them to do it, even though they got free tickets anyway. But it's an awesome crowd. It makes a huge difference for us. So we got a huge week, and I hope our players, they're going to feel the same way at some point in time. I don't know if they do just yet, but huge game on Wednesday for us down at Georgia State, which is a tough place to play and a place I've never walked out of victorious. So excited, and we got to keep this thing going.
I guess just continuing on that, what's made it so difficult going down there to play at Georgia State, where, like you said, you haven't been able to win one there yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it's a beautiful arena. It's not necessarily that, right? It's not the place. It's not the fans or sometimes lack thereof. Like there was not a whole lot of people there last year. It's just the matchup. I think they've got really, really good guards. Even and that's not taken away from Mahogany Matthews, which we all know. She's got a ring on her finger. She won a ring last year, so has always done a good job with Susha inside. So I think the matchup is just tough. I don't know if it's right, and they haven't been a top 3 team or anything like that either of the years they've beaten us. But I think that's. Just part of basketball sometimes is the matchup. So I think it's more the team than the place that causes us problems. And I've got, Gene Hill is one of my good friends in this league. And I thought he built his team really well after losing some kids to transfers and stuff like that. But they've always been tough, even the home games, right? They beat us up here last year. Now we were going through it, right? Susha just gone out with the injury and Heaven got hurt during the game. But the year before, it was like 6-5 after the first quarter, if you remember. It was unbelievable. Steph ended up having to hit 4 threes in a row to get us going. So it's just always been a really tough matchup for us, and we got to try to overcome that. But I think it's more the matchup than the place itself. Nice arena.
And I guess you mentioned Mahogany Matthews, and you think you were stumping for Bree for Defensive Player of the Year a little bit the other day. She's got great stats on that side of it. Like
yeah.
Just, can you explain a little bit about how she kind of disrupts things with her defense?
Yeah, she's got a great feel, man. And the one of the plays that just sticks out to me is in the tournament, Susha making one of her moves and she's just right on it. And I thought, again, Susha's all conference and Susha's going to be just fine, but I just feel like she does a good job with her inside. But man, you go Mahogany. Crystal Henderson's Rookie of the Year, right? We've always had trouble with Tollivert, Kayla Addies. Has lit us up before, and then Maya Williams running around, and that's just to name a few, right? But it's tough, man. And Mahogany's going to pose a little bit of a matchup issue too. She plays a lot on the perimeter now. She's not as inside as she was, I guess, for Marshall. So she's standing in the corner a lot, and they're running a 5-out offense, which will be a challenge, right? Because we use Susha a lot to help, right? We call it smash. She smashes a lot for us on penetration, and so it's one of those things that I love the challenge of it, but it's certainly going to be a challenge. I don't know. I really don't. I know where the standings are. I don't necessarily know exactly where they are in the standings. I think they're right in the mix, tied for seventh, something like that. But it doesn't matter to me. I consider them like a top 4 team when we play.
And flipping it to your defense, obviously this team's been a little bit different as far as going for steals and everything. And you look at the conference stats, and Peyton, Bree, Zakiah, Rowe are all like almost exactly the same with the number of steals they have. You haven't had a team go for a lot of steals.
No.
In at all, let alone have 4 people who might get one in any given possession. Just, how different is that to coach, and how difficult is that to coach against? Similar to offense, where like you can't just shut down one person. You got different people kind of disrupting.
Yeah, I mean, It's a great point. I'm actually a little surprised to see that, but I'll tell you this. So it is part of adaptability, right? Is being able to, you have this plan in place and your system and all this stuff, and then you get your personnel here and you realize, wait, we could be better at this. And I remember, years ago, I can't remember which team it was with Kenny, but I think it was my first year. It was like, and he was always like a very offensive minded coach, always. And we started like that year, we had Tamara and we had Dawn, but Dawn was a freshman, took her a while to get going. And we just couldn't score great. But Jen Brown and Nina Ukta and Keisha Stokes, man, they could rebound, they could defend. And I remember about midway through the year, it was like, is that our thing, right? And I think you never really know what it is until you kind of get into it. And I think that's what we've done well as a staff and a team, is kind of adapt to that, where my philosophy usually is keep you in front really well, contest, and dominate the glass. And we haven't dominated the glass like we have in years past. And we've allowed people to, with Bree and Zakaya's pressure, go for steals, go for some denials, go for some shooting the gap stuff. And I think, excuse me, adding that element has really, really helped us. Bree especially, right? And I do think she should be in consideration for. I'll be nominating her for Defensive Player of the Year. And it's too bad it's going to be based on stats, Shane. But I hope it's not. But I think it is hard because we're not consistently denying you, right? It's not, hey, when you play James Madison, hey, they're going to deny. Here come the back doors. No, you don't exactly know when we're going for that. We don't exactly know, you set a cross screen and you're flying up. Maybe that's the time Bree puts on the Jets and gets one, right? I thought Rowe, to start her minutes in the second half, went and got a steal and made a basket from it. Was a big momentum play. But it's not what I think is hard to play against for other people is the unpredictability of it. And I think their instincts, letting them free a little bit, has really helped us, including Peyton. Peyton is like very by the book. If I tell Peyton, put her foot, over there on that trash can, she'll go put her foot on that trash can. It's like, now it's like letting the Bree and Zakaya have really forced me to allow a little bit more freedom. And I think that's helped Peyton, because I think she's just playing with her instincts. And I also think having really good rotational defense behind that has helped, because when you go for a steal and don't get it, you're not giving up automatic points, right? You've got Susha behind you. You've got a rotation behind Susha, right? So it allows Susha to smash better, and now maybe you can get that steal because Jamia is rotating on the backside of it. So I think it's added an element for us for sure, and it's a nice little steal race. I might be hyping that up. Like, who can end up with the most steals? Let's not do that. We'll start flying around way too much.
To piggyback on that a little bit, how has this team been in game making adjustments when you want to maybe change something up or some of that unpredictability? And I guess to go along with that, have they been a good practice team for the most part this year, then carrying that over into the game?
Yeah. It's funny. Both of those things are heavily on my mind. One, the first part of that, Dave, is maybe the best team. You go 18, 19, 19, 20, those teams, I can't quite remember, but I think as good as I've ever coached as far as in-game, being able to adjust, being able to listen, hey, the hedge is killing us right now, we got to go to this ball screen defense. And, hey, we got to go make sure we go over on Buford, right, on any ball screen. So they're very they're very good at that, a pretty high level of being able to take the information and adjust to it. And I think a lot of that is experience and maturity. But even in-game with themselves, I think has been another level for me. Just Ashanti is very good at that. Peyton's very good at that. I think Rowe is extremely high IQ. Even Bree and Zakaya, so gosh. Good thing you brought this water. I just think that's an element for me that we've had some teams that can do it. This team is pretty elite at that, in my opinion. And I forget the second part of that thing. Oh yeah. So in practice, right? And that's what I'm battling now, right? If you Anna is a 5th-year senior. Jamia is a 5th-year senior. Rose a 5th-year senior. Sush is a 5th-year senior. P's a 5th-year junior. Okay, so practice, it's been different, right? And not that we don't practice well. We practice very well when it comes, but I don't know if I've practiced as little. And I don't want to say like we're not out there practicing, but it's different. I don't need to go for 2.5 hours today, right? This is 2 days before a game. I know you had an off day yesterday, but if you guys can understand the information and know what we're trying to do, you don't need as many reps, right? And that's the beauty of the experience, right? Is show me you've got. Let's say we're going to change our ball screen defense for Micaiah Tolliver. All right, let's say we do that, and you can show me that in 10 reps. All right, let's go, move on. Like I don't need to be out there just to be out there. And I think if we had a team where we're playing 2 freshmen and 4 sophomores, you're going to need more reps. You want more reps, and their bodies can handle more reps. And I was getting some of Kenny Brooks' advice yesterday as far as, what's Georgia Amore do on a weekly basis, right? Is she out there in every rep? And so he was good with that. And I think finding the balance of rhythm and rest is a really, really important thing, especially down the stretch here in February.
You still talk to Kenny quite a bit?
Yeah, I wouldn't say here's the best way to define it. If I need something, he is there in an instant. And, it's a text here and there. During the season, I don't talk to a lot of people a lot, just you guys. But really, it's hard for me to keep up. Afterwards, sure. But again, similar thing. He plays yesterday. I hit him after the game. They dominated Georgia, and he's there, man. He's there and giving me his time, which says a lot about him. And so, that's what that is.
And then also, we've talked about experience, and you just brought it up again. But early in non-conference, early in conference play, there were some lulls in games, and we talked about that. Do you feel like you're more consistent right now? And is some of that, there's only 4 games left in the regular season, with this experienced group that they kind of understand now is the time to lock in?
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think some of the lulls I'd put on me, right, in the sense of rotationally figuring out the best combinations and who you need to have on the floor a lot of the time, right? Or have somebody on the floor in a perfect world, no foul trouble. Do you always have to have a row on the floor when Peyton's not on the floor, right? Do you always have to have, that type of thing? So I think a little bit of that is figuring that out. But what I give this team credit for is we have really had the maturity and understanding of what could be. And what we try to get across to them is like, okay, you can do this for, let's say we got a lot of 5th years, so let's say for 5 years, and you can be on a lot of teams, and it can never be you can never have a team that's as capable of what this team is capable of, right? So you can be on some really tight teams that are good. You can be on some, like you was 2 years ago, right? That team was good. That team was good enough to win a championship, but we're 13-5 in the conference. Like why is that, right? And I don't know how, I can go back and do all that stuff, but this team is talent-wise, maturity-wise, experience-wise, it's like kind of one of a kind. And so when you have a team that is, in my opinion, almost one of a kind, you don't waste that. And I think that's what the leadership of this team has really bought into. And look, I'm not gassing up. We can go down to Georgia State and we can't find the basket and we lose by 15. I don't know. But this team, I hope, is realizing that. And that would be a good thing if we are. Because I do think we're capable of a lot of things. What I've been preaching is like, okay, you're capable of it doesn't mean anything. It's what you're willing to do to kind of seize that capability.
You talk a lot about challenges, especially with the team, the run that they've been on, but for yourself personally, throughout your time here at JMU, first 15 straight wins for you. Now, kind of maybe entering a little new waters. How do you try and approach that kind of game by game to keep things going, especially just for yourself?
Right. Really not even looking at it, right? And it's just one at a time. And I know that's a generic thing, but that's That's my honest answer. Nothing else matters in the whole world than us beating Georgia State. And I'm talking basketball-wise. Okay, of course, my family matters more. But right, that's the mindset, is that like our staff, it comes from us first, is that like, nah, this is the most important. This is a Super Bowl, and it's the most important game of the year. And the more you can buy into that, the more you can really believe that, the better. And I think, I say it all the time. It's like, we don't get any points for being whatever we are, right? Georgia State doesn't lose points for where they are, right? We don't get any points for like, and that's what I was using with Old Dominion, and it maybe didn't work. I don't know. You don't get any points for beating them at their place. It doesn't matter. It's gone. It's so far gone. You've got to show up and earn the right to win each game, and that is one possession at a time. That's one day, minute of preparation at a time, and so. That's hard to do, I think, for a lot of people, but that's what we're going to have to do to continue to hopefully play well. And that's all I'm looking for here, is I want to continue to play well. And I think it's not reasonable to think you're going to play well every game and it's going to be smooth. No, it's not going to be smooth, but your togetherness, right, your unselfishness, right, your effort, all your focus, all those things got to be pretty high level.
And I also wanted to ask, I saw per Kevin Warner on Sunday night that JMU, one of 5 programs in the nation, both men's and women's basketball, first in the conference. I mean, the amount of success that JMU's had as a program throughout the past 4? Thank you, Kurt. So 1 of 4 to be able to do that. And with the amount of past success that this program has had, all sports combined, what does it mean just to be able to still be on top of that and to continue to be at this type of level?
Well, yeah, it's I love it. That's why this place is awesome, right? This is, I don't know when they coined the term. I don't know when it happened. The everything school. Yeah, that's what this is here, right? And I think that's a testament to current President King, right, who's done a lot for athletics here at JMU, for obviously our athletic director Matt Rome, but Jeff Bourne when he was here, and that whole administration of giving us what we need, and not just us, right, every sport here, giving us the support we need to go out there and win. And giving us the confidence and the space to go out there and win. So, certainly it's an uncontrollable thing for me. I just got my group to worry about. But, I saw Bob Chesney yesterday, and he's got a lot of pride in us winning and Preston winning. And so that's how this place is, and getting a lot of texts as I like to give out to other programs throughout this whole thing. So it's a cool thing, and I got a lot of pride in this place for sure.
If you saw that tweet after yesterday's results, there might be 5. I was looking at it yesterday morning. It was 4. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, sure. All those numbers out there. Sean, it's very easy year in and year out to talk about a team overcoming adversity in a game, during a season, what have you. But wisdom can be acquired through going through adversity through years. And from a coaching standpoint, we can go back to your history here where you've had some good teams and some unfortunate circumstances.
Yep.
The Smalls injury, Lexi Barrier injury, that one season really stumped that year, I think. COVID knocked out that other year. How much has those particular circumstances galvanized your way of thinking in this day-to-day, don't take anything for granted approach?
Yeah, a lot, Kurt. And that's like you give me PTSD right there a little bit with that one. But, it is, and it's that's what I'm trying to get across to the team, right, is that use that 18-19 year. I thought that team was maybe as good of a team as I coached. And, to have Smalls go down the last regular season game and Lexi go down in the first 47 seconds of our first round game up at Delaware, it's just like, okay, can't control any of that stuff. What am I supposed to tell them? Drink more milk? Like, it's just that's kind of my whole point, right, is that, like, we did all this stuff right that year, and we still didn't have the pieces in place to go win a championship. And so, as long as we do, just don't waste it and just don't give it away, man. Because I think I don't know. It's just so hard. And you look at last year, right? Last year's a very, very different team. We got a lot of different pieces. We couldn't ever get it together like we've gotten together right now. And that doesn't take away from what Heaven did here or Carol Miller or but like, no, we didn't have it the same. And so when you have it, yeah, you don't want to look. If somebody's going to get us, sure, no problem. That happens all the time, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to lose a game, but you better earn that. You better earn that when you beat us, and because now we're focused. We know exactly what Crystal Henderson's going to do. We're giving max effort. We're beating everybody to loose balls. You can't fail in any of those categories, or your preparation, or you're too entitled, so you didn't show up that day. Like, you just can't have any of that. And I do think that, that has grown in me based on my experiences too. And I think getting through to your team, again, you're talking, a lot of people have been on a lot of teams on this team, right? Peyton's been through a lot of ups and downs. Jamia, right? Roe has been through. Olivia's been through. Like, they all. So I think when I'm saying it, they're not like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I've been on one team, and like Zakai. Zakai's been on one team. They went to the NCAA tournament. It's like, yeah, whatever. But you got a lot of people in there with experiences that they can see what I'm talking about, I think. And I think it always trickles down.
Did you have any opportunity this past Saturday with all the alums that are here, a lot of proud alums, with this basketball program, to interact with them at all? Or, what can you glean in the few moments that you have with those alums, and maybe even interaction within the current players and those past players?
Yeah, it was great. After the game, we got together up in the multipurpose room, and I think it allowed – I'm a big fan of that, and I want every alum to come back here, because I think there is a sense of pride in there's been a lot of good teams here, right? And so I'm going to get to my end point here in a second, but you talk about, Sid Beasley and Flo Jackson and more, right? There's everybody was here, which was great. Our players – you're at a different stage in life. You don't really know what, you're just listening, okay. But I think those interactions are really helpful and can be really valuable. I only got, I would say, 20 minutes because I was doing press conference and stuff to get up there. But you can tell, what you can really tell from my perspective is the sense of pride in how much they want us to win and continue what their legacy was, right? And that's something that really got to me was Coach Morrison, who was Sheila's assistant coach for a long time. She said nothing would be worse than a program that has fallen off based on all this work we put in, all this time we put in, all this stuff, and we're really proud of where you guys are, because it would crush us. And it was like, you don't know. I don't know that they watch the games. I don't know that Coach Morrison and Coach Mormon are texting when they're watching us play App State. Like, that gave me like chill bumps, and it gave me another sense of pride in making sure you're going to work really hard for this, because they did, right? And they joke, it was like they had a secretary, Coach Morrison and Coach Mormon, that was it. And it's like, yeah, we got 10 people up in that office right now. But I hope our players can take some of that too. I hope some of their conversations were that as well. And I do think that was the case. There was a lot of sure, they spoke as a group, but there was a lot of one-on-one interaction too. And I hope that adds more meaning to the pride of what you're wearing on your chest. So that was a really cool event, and I do think, Missy Buck, Dudley Buck, yeah, okay. Her and Sheila really organized it, and I was just I just benefited from it, from our players and myself. So thanks, though.